Welcome, everyone, to another Conversations of the Void. I'm your host, Graveyard, joined, as always, with my off-screen producer, Salem. Make sure to say hi to Salem in the chat. He loves to hear from each and every one of you. So, this gentleman I have on tonight, his name has been on my Facebook page for a very long time. We have a lot of the same people in common. Please welcome writer, director, actor with works including Camp Blood 9, Air Fryer Slaughter, and the Farmhouse Murders. Please welcome to the Void, Kevin Duffy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Pretty good. Can't complain too much, I guess. So
who'd listen to us, right?
Exactly. I see you're wearing your piano movers hat too. You know, your claim to fame.
Yeah, that's my main gig. That's been the family business since the Grover Cleveland second administration. And that's as far as we'll go into politics. But that's when my family's been moving pianos in the United States.
That's awesome. That's a long time.
Since 1895. So yeah, I'm a fifth generation.
That's it. Oh, all right, Kevin. So before we get into you and your work, I like to get a little more about you. So do you remember your first horror movie by chance?
First one I ever watched?
Yeah.
John Carpenter's Halloween.
Ooh.
That was 3. My dad had the accidental television cut VHS that was released in like 88 or 89, where they accidentally put the TV cut on a widely released tape. So including like stuff being edited out, not just the extended one. So it became a relic later on that we still had that old tape. But yeah, that's the first one I ever saw was so the television version of John Carpenter's Halloween.
Awesome. Yeah, I think my first Halloween was Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
That's a brutal place to start.
I mean, all the way through, unedited, not on TV type.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because I think, Halloween had maybe on like TNT back in the 80s and 90s, but always just the TV version. So, but yeah, it was enough for me to go, you know what? I like Halloween, and just went back and filled the catalog and watched them all. Like,
yeah, that's the catalyst to my horror addiction was Halloween, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he did make, my sleeve of tattoos.
He's hard to contend with. Even the original Fog, I love that movie. It's everything about it, just the total vibe. It's dreadful, it's gloomy, it's dark. It's kind of isolated on that little island of Antonio Bay. I'd like to think there's a little bit of the Fog in the Farmhouse Murders.
Ooh, yeah, I can't wait to talk about that here in a little bit. But I like to get to know. So, do you have, Kevin, an opinion of what your most overrated horror IP is? Doesn't have to be franchise, to be singular. Our hot, take is the Conjuring universe. Why does it make $2 billion? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the first one was okay, but that's about. I don't see why it had to become a universe other than that it does make money. So I get that.
But what about you?
Nobody makes movies to make money unless they're making indie movies.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very,
the big studios are just looking for the paycheck, which is why you'll see things recycled that they know are bankable, and it's tough to. New stories are hard to bank on them. They'd rather make Star Wars 25 than write something else.
So, Kevin, in your opinion, though, what would be something you just don't understand the just huge popularity of?
Today, but maybe Terrifier.
Yeah,
maybe those movies. I do really commend them for what they've done, as obviously, accomplishing that in the indie. It's like when Blair Witch Project takes off, anything. When it doesn't take much and you can get a lot out of it, it's nice to see a lot of eyes go on indie movies. Yeah. So when they win, whether I like them or not, I want them all to be successful.
Yeah, I think Terrifier should have stopped at the first one.
You know what? The only one I really like is All Hallows Eve.
Yeah,
where Gianelli played Art, and I like David Howard Thornton, but some was real. I don't know. Even when I rewatch All Hallows Eve, it's very uneasy, that version of Art the Clown, where I feel like David Howard Thornton's almost like the later Freddy's.
Yeah, I
Almost.
can see that.
It's to where it wasn't as funny in All Hallows Eve. It was a lot more like this. I wasn't rooting for Art in All Hallows Eve to where I'm rooting for it. So and I love Jason Lives, so I'm okay. I can get on board with that kind of horror movie too. But
yeah,
I don't. It just had that sinister vibe. Like I want to be scared more than I want to laugh, and I don't mind some comedy thrown in. And I think the best horror does that, even if it's just a line or two. I think the best horror movies always have that.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. As long as you don't go into the cheesy territory where everything.
Yes, unless that's the intention.
then
it's okay. But when they're trying to be serious and they're cheesy, then we're having trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. And Distant Story says we're on the same page because we did a Terrifier rewatch for our other show that we do, and we rate movies pretty harshly sometimes. And we just go, yeah, Terrifier 3 unnecessary. I don't want to know where it goes next.
Really, All Hallows Eve. I could have stopped there, but I'm glad they've gotten success out of it. And, I enjoyed Stream, which the same team made. I thought that was fun. It was a little all over the place, but fun. I'm being entertained. I don't need Shawshank Redemption every movie I watch.
That's very true.
I had fun.
Yeah. So on the flip side, what is the most underrated horror IP or franchise that you can think of that you just go, wait, you've never seen this? You're watching this right now. I'm gonna watch it.
So one of my there's a few that I would think of, and two that come to mind are Burn Offerings.
Okay.
From '76 with Oliver Reed and Karen Black, and then The Changeling with George C. Scott and Trish Van Devere. I think The Changeling's probably my favorite haunted house movie ever made.
Yeah, that's on our list of movies to watch and trying to figure out where to put things with it. I know there was a Changeling in the early 2000s, I believe, as well.
Yeah, that was like a different plot. So it wasn't even it was just a totally different
the same
thing. Right. Yeah. So kind of. Yeah, the same idea behind the.
Yeah. Awesome. So Kevin, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I know you've been, started making short films when you were 9 and 10, and you kind of took a break. So how did you really get into filmmaking? Was it Halloween that I want to make movies, or something else that just kind of peaked the interest?
I'd say a lot of that, because the first probably 5 or 6 movies I made were Michael Myers movies, and a Don Post mask where Myers is 4'7", chasing you with a rubber knife. But definitely Halloween was that. But I always like telling stories too, ghost stories, and my dad was that way too. He'd always say he actually the story for Farmhouse came from my dad.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And we've always been ghost stories was our thing. I'm one of 6 kids.
Okay.
So we didn't have much growing up, but we had each other. Now we'd tell stories a lot. It was good times.
Now, is he the Kevin T. Duffy that was on the Piano Movies
episode? Exactly. Yeah, so he's a 4th generation piano mover.
Okay. So I saw his
first generation writer.
Yeah. I saw his name as a producer on your stuff, and I go, maybe it's just, sometimes people have 2 names for themselves. I checked it, and no, he was in 2004 on a TV show as a piano mover.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what? We've gotten. I have some of my credits are just from that, which is kind of cool, because I was on a different home improvement show a few years ago, and that's what my dad was on then, like one of those HGTV type shows.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny that we end up on a few of them.
It's like I said, when I do research for people, I go, wow, that's pretty interesting to see something like that.
Yeah, but you meet some cool people in the business. It's kind of cool. Ben Folds a month ago, I moved his piano. He was shooting some kind of Christmas special that's going to come out next year.
Okay.
But that was pretty cool. And it's funny, politics again, but the most famous person I met was President Biden working, but it's when he was the vice president. So it was like 2012. And that was pretty cool. And he was great to me. think one way or another. But he was cool. He introduced himself like I didn't know who he would. I was like, I know who you are, Mr. Vice President, but it's good to meet you too. Enjoy the show. He was speaking at like a luncheon where they had a piano player. So
okay,
they just happened to be there when we were, so it was just kind of cool. But yeah, we worked for Adele's piano player, and so and as far as getting into movies, that was just always what I wanted to do, and moving pianos is like always what I was going to do,
right?
And I still like to do. And what's cool is I've been able to do both. It takes me a little longer than somebody who'll just go down and shoot something and then go right to post and then you're done. So it has to be a couple year project, but there's a lot of passion put into it, and the crew's really excited about it, and I was able to get some really big names to agree to be in it, and that kind of elevated everything, and it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, I see Larry Hankins attached to it, and he was on the show too a while back.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, Larry's amazing. He was the first big name cast, and what's funny with him is he. When I called him on the phone and just told him the idea, I think he was kind of flattered a little bit. And I said, it was who we wanted. It's funny because when me and my dad were coming up with the story, I was like, what if Sheriff Riley was Larry Hankin? What if we got old Joe?
Yeah.
from Breaking Bad to be the sheriff, and it's. Eventually, you'll see how pivotal his part is, but it's really good. Larry's already wrapped on the movie, so like a lot of this is already done, and it was amazing, and it was like my first time. He was my first hire of somebody, that's been around the block a little bit, and it feels good to hear yes from a legend like that. I'll be honest. And so it's cool. And I was in Desert Fiends, which we shot a couple years ago in Vegas, and now Larry from Farmhouse is going to be in Desert Fiends Part 2, which they're going to be making in April. So that's pretty cool.
I love it. Yeah,
to have like a little bit of a tie. Like I'll be in 1 and he'll be in 2 after we did Farmhouse together. So
yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, we were talking to. Myself and the other horror dads were talking to Larry, and we were trying to get him in something of ours too relatively soon. But we're talking about the one that we're going to be shooting in June, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. But we were still in talks with them.
Gotcha. Yeah, just you never know. Just keep the communication up, and like a lot of the way we're scheduling Farmhouse is just to cater to the celebrities a little bit. I want these big names in the movie, and I'm willing to do it, to be burden myself, or however you would look at it, like be slightly annoyed that it's going to have to get done over time to be able to get these people in these roles. And it was really important to me. And even and after Larry, I was going back and forth in my head. I wanted either for the deputy in the movie, who's going to be played by Marlon Taylor, who was Mike in the original It. It was, I wanted to reach out to him or Brandon Adams from The People Under the Stairs.
Ooh.
And I just more and more. So I rewatched both movies. I love both of them. And it's just, if you remember Marlon's first big scene in the original It, when he's in the classroom speaking about all like the different things that I was like, man, the parallels between his character in that and this character that I've written in the Farmhouse Murders is just so perfect. And he loved it. He loved the idea, and he was awesome. He's rapped too. Nice. It was amazing to work with him. We were like best buddies by the time he was leaving. I didn't want him to go. After I cast him, somebody said you got to get you have to do a Losers Club reunion, and I was like, well, there is this character, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a chance. I'm 2 for 2 so far. I was like, let me reach out to Ben Heller. It was because in that original It movie, I always had a big attachment to 3 roles, like specifically, and it was Jonathan Brandis, Marlon Taylor, and Ben Heller, and for some reason I always loved those 3 particular characters and their performances. And obviously, Jonathan's no longer with us.
Right.
And I said, if I could get Ben, that would be amazing. And I reached out, and he said yes. And I don't know if I'm just the luckiest guy ever that tried to assemble a cast, or if they just liked what I said, or who knows.
Yeah.
But Larry Hankins said yes before we even discussed his salary. Because he said that sounds like a really cool character. I'll do it. I don't care what you can pay me. It was surreal. It was things you dream about that you don't think you're ever actually going to do.
Right.
And now Eric was in Desert Fiends, Eric Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
And when I reached out to them, I reached out to both of them. I said, how cool would it be? Because I have the mayor and his wife are two characters. And I said, there's one more spot where I can get some really cool, notable names. And I was like, I can sell this to them, like, take a trip together and come do a film together. And they said yes.
Nice.
So it's, and I'm it's a lot of stress, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun too. And it's cool to be able to build it little by little. Cause we have some that's, we're about 50% shot.
Okay.
And, and when you're on a extended production like that, you're going to have bumps in the road. Things are going to change. We did have our lead, actually, one of our leads dropped out of the project after we had already started shooting. We hadn't done anything with her yet, but what happened was when we cast her, we didn't have Larry Hankin, and we didn't have Eric Roberts. And then I think she just got cold feet. Or just thought maybe more eyes are going to be on it than need to be. But I did a casting call, and 48 women auditioned to be in this movie. And it was incredibly humbling that, 48 people, will take the time to audition to be in, something me and my dad wrote. It's just really, it's a really cool experience that people care enough about what I'm doing. That's what I found the most cool. And people are, especially in this indie horror community, everyone's very supportive of each other. And I think the more we support each other, the better we all do.
I completely agree. That's why I do the show, is get to meet independent creators like yourself. Because like I said, I'm part of Horror Dads. We're independent horror movie makers.
Yes.
And it's just, I just love the connections and networking, because you're right. I always say indie support indie, hands down. You may not like the movie and whatever, as long as people aren't dicks, it hurts nothing to be nice. And that's all I want to be, is nice to people. And it shows with what you do, and other filmmakers as well. Sean C. Phillips, you work with him, with Skate to Hell with Eric Roberts, Robert Kearney, Jenna Jameson, and all that stuff too.
Yeah, that was a blast. that was a fun shoot too. Yeah, Skate to Hell was my sophomore effort with that crew, and I wish them all the best on Desert Fiends too, because if it's half as fun as that first one was, those guys are going to have a great time.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's indie, and as you know, it's rough making a movie. It's not as easy as everyone thinks. No.
It's a pain. Like I will say that I love showing up and just playing a character in somebody else's movie a lot more than I like making a movie. But it is going to have something. It's going to be really cool to have something that's mine, and I was able to assemble some cool names to be part of it, and some close friends to be in it, and my kids are going to have a small part in it. It's just going to, in the end, if I'm the only one that loves it, I made a movie that I love and I'm happy with it. But I think the stories of, I got to give my dad props, because I think people are going to be, it's twisted.
I can't wait. You have to send me the link when it's available to stream. Just because,
definitely,
or purchase, especially on VHS. I like VHS.
Yeah.
They
last. All my DVDs are scratched because my kids use them as Frisbees. My VHSs, you put them in, they still work.
Yeah. But I think it's great. With the crew that I work with in Horror Dads, we have the same kind of back end crew, but when we do a movie, we like to get local talents. We can work with different actors. Yes, we still have some same talent, but it's just an absolute blast doing it. But working the same crew, it does feel like home. How everyone works.
There's just nothing like being on set. So it's such a fun environment. Everyone's working together to try and make something really cool that'll hopefully last forever, and a lot of people will appreciate. And
Yeah.
You know, it'll live on. You become part of horror history, even if it's, man, remember that one horrible movie? As long as people are talking about it.
Well, you talk about like bad movies. I was able to talk to Jackie Newman Jones, who played the daughter in the original Manos: The Hands of Fate.
Wow.
She did the new Manos movies. I talked to other people that made the Manos sequels a couple of years ago, and they're just going, yeah, we know the story. No, the movie was bad, but everyone knows it now.
Yeah. Hey, as long as they're talking, right?
Exactly. And you talk about you having family there too, and the trials and tribulations of making a movie. We had actors pull out of our last movie that we did in Horror Dads, and it's supposed to be only a couple of weekends. It took 5 months, and so I convinced my wife to be in the movie and to get killed, and I was the one to kill her. So
there you go.
We always have that.
It's always a family affair, whether a production assistant or walk through the background.
Mm-hmm.
But getting put in and getting killed is pretty cool.
Exactly.
Did she have fun doing that?
She got Halloween decorations out of it, so yes.
There you go. There has to be some kind of win. There's got to be some collateral.
Oh, for sure. Now, with Farmhouse Murders, you writing it with your dad, you're directing it, and you're acting it. I mean, that's a big thing to do for one movie. I mean, what's that been like for you?
It's been a lot of fun. It's fun writing my own dialogue and stuff like that. It's cool. There's a lot of different pieces to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, if anything, I'd say Marlon's character kind of drives the movie. Because he's there from it. The movie takes place over a period of 40 years.
Oh,
so that it starts in 85 and ends in 25.
Okay,
and Marlon's kind of there the whole time, and other people kind of come and weave in and out of the story. But we're gonna have to go to the end to get back to the beginning.
Okay. I said it's like I said, for what I've seen and I've heard, it sounds amazing. I can't wait. I really can't.
We're really excited about it. I think the toughest part, we just wish it was done because we want to watch it. Like me and my editor, we're like so proud and happy of what we have so far. And it's just like, man, it's not done. We want to show people, and it's just, we just don't have everything. Like if you read the script and then watch the clips as we have them and then go back to the script, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And as long as everybody else doesn't, I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. When it comes to editing, when I've edited stuff, I go, I cannot edit myself. I do not want to listen to myself. I do not want to watch myself. I'm like, someone else do this part. My
cinematographer is, I gotta say, if it's not 50-50, it's 51-49. But my buddy Adam Shankweiler, who's shooting the movie and doing a heavy part of the editing, like I have Final Cut, but other than that, he's doing the brunt of the editing and stuff, because I don't want to have seen the movie 150 times before it comes out, but it'll be at least that.
Exactly.
But yeah, he's good. He went to school for that kind of thing and stuff.
Okay.
So you gotta get some talent around you when you know you have it. And we've been friends for 20 years, and he typically same thing. He works in that industry, not doing filmmaking, but editing and different stuff for different channels and streaming services and stuff. So he knows what he's doing. So that's, your team is everything, and you know that. It's you got good people around you. It's the less weight you have to carry yourself, the easier it makes it on everybody, and it just makes for such a smooth, fun, relaxed experience. Like everyone who's come on and worked, I think has had a great time.
Oh yeah, like I said, you said the crew's important, and we all wear multiple hats, even when making it, because we're indie.
Right. and honestly, putting myself in the movie is just because I like what the story is so much that I'd be hurt if I watched it and I wasn't in it. Like I have to be a part of it, but I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to fool people, which I think it's hard to do anymore. I think you might think it's one of 5 different things, and it's none of them. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to people figuring it out and saying that was easy, but we'll see. Like even the cast doesn't have the full script. in some side. Me and Adam are the only ones with Adam Shankweiler, who's my DP, are the only ones that have the entire movie.
Ooh, like that's mystery then.
Yeah, so some people are wrapped and don't even know what might happen to them before or after, but it makes it fun for them that way too when it's premiering. I mostly, when I work on a movie, I don't really care to see too much before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just acting with obviously it's much different directing and producing, but
right. So with all this being said that you've worked on, without spoiling anything that hasn't come out yet, what's been kind of the hardest scene for you to shoot? Do you have anything that, like, man, whether
in Farmhouse,
as a director or in anything you've done that you've worked on?
Hardest scene in anything I've done. There's a scene, a pretty good scene in Desert Fiends, I would say was my toughest. It's a quick scene, but it's a good scene, an action scene. I can't say too much because it comes out in April.
Okay,
but it was a very fun scene to shoot. It's a memorable scene towards the climax of the movie. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, like I said, it's, you know, there's some things that you stick in your head, like, okay, especially with practical effects, right? You go, we generally have like one take.
Yeah, I only have one head to explode, so do it right.
Yeah, it's always the most nerve-wracking part when doing something like that. Is
definitely
that.
And don't get blood on the camera.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, I love it. Like I said, you can get blood on me all you want. I don't care. But awesome. So have you been going to any like film festivals or cons with your stuff you've been working on?
I haven't been to any of the horror cons yet.
Oh
yeah, it's I have 3 kids, so like when I got out of school, I got married young and had 3 kids. And I was a dad at 19.
Mm-hmm.
And then as my kids got a little older, I wanted to get back into it just because I'm getting to the point where I'm annoying them now. So they're like, Dad, go do your own thing, So it was something I always wanted to do. When the opportunity arose for Desert Fiends, I reached out to Sean, who I had known for a long time already before that, just through YouTube, really before Facebook or anything. I just watched him on YouTube. But I had a blast on that set, and it just totally made me fall in love with filmmaking again, because it's so much fun just creating stories and being part of things.
Yeah.
And if you have a story to tell, people will listen. And
yeah,
if you have a character that that's what I'll say as far as getting lucky with those big names. It was just take the chance.
Mm-hmm.
The worst they could say is no, and then you hire somebody else, but at least you tried.
Exactly. Yeah, I was able to take my oldest to the Acronomicon a couple of weeks ago, just because things fell through. Not everyone was able to go that was supposed to go, so I ended up driving 6 hours into like northeastern Ohio, and I took my oldest, and she just goes, "This is cool. I want to do this again." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah, I bet they look like a blast, and I'm sure I'd have a lot of fun. Me and my daughter are going to a con coming up, but it's just like for Cobra Kai. But that's enough for me to get there.
Yeah, it's like I said, I was able to meet Sean Burkett in person. He was on the show. I got to hang out with him, and that was cool.
Oh, that's great.
So, all right, well, Kevin, it's time to get to these rapid questions because this flew by fast.
It did. Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. So this is episode 80. We now have had 77 people say the answer one way, 2 the other. The question is, practical or CGI?
Practical.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I'm going. I don't even think it's close. It's
no.
Let's not drag the Star Wars prequels into this, but I like practical effects.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's especially with us indie creators, it's easier.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it's something to have on screen that your actors are able to work with, and maybe you can enhance it if you have time, with practical, but pure practical.
Yeah. We're doing all practical effects on Farmhouse, and it's not like It's not super. It's not like gore the whole time, like a gross out movie. But when people die, it's not pretty. So yeah,
Yeah.
there is some significant gore, but it's not in every death scene. Like there's some implied stuff too. I don't want it to be so cut and dry or just show you everything. It's about mood and atmosphere and build up and kind of a slow burn, dreadful, and then the heartbeat picks up and then it goes about a million miles a minute in that last half hour where everything falls apart or comes together depending on what character you're rooting for.
Oh, yeah, good third act then.
Yes.
All right, so I probably know the answer to this next question, Kevin. But if you got a knock on the door and someone says, "I will give you $1 million to make the next entry in blank," what would that be? What would be ideal? Dream one.
Oh, to make it to like any franchise movie. Where do I have to pick it up from? Can it be a reboot or just
wherever you want?
Okay. Honestly, if it were my choice, I'd probably do a direct sequel to Halloween 1 and 2 from 78 and 81. I'd probably make a Halloween 3. Okay. If I could ultimately get it my way, since it'll never happen, I'll go. I made it in 1984 with Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis. If I'm completely doing it today, though, I don't. Man, it's maybe Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Star Wars. I mean, the next one I plan to do is a Christmas movie. So I'm not even just stuck in the horror box as much as horror is like my go-to and my favorite. I do like a good comedy movie too.
Yeah.
Maybe Back to the Future.
Number 4.
Yeah, but my problem with that is I only like the first one. Yeah, I don't regard it as a great trilogy. I regard it as a great movie with 2 okay sequels that don't have Crispin Glover in them.
Yeah, but Jeffrey Wiseman was great.
I do like Jeff Weissman. I didn't like that they made him wear a Crispin Glover mask in 2, but Jeff Weissman's funny in his own right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got a little bit of dirt on that when he was on the show last year. So. All right, so Kevin, any advice for people getting into the field of filmmaking that you can give?
Go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask. People might say yes. Mm-hmm. Talk to friends. You know, start networking. Sell yourself a little bit. Like, give yourself a chance, because if you don't, no one else is gonna. Give yourself a little kick in the ass, and don't be afraid to get your fucking hands dirty.
Exactly. Yeah, and be proud of what you do. I think that's an important part too.
Absolutely. And you got to have fun. If you're not having fun, that's like everything in your life. If you're not doing that, what are you doing?
Exactly. All right, Kevin, you ready for your random horror trivia question?
Let's do it.
All right. A practical joke on a trucker over a CB radio kickstarts terror in what 2001 Paul Walker film?
Joyride.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Candy cane.
I always saw that movie as the 21st century Duel, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Spielberg movie. And I think there's no Jaws without Duel. I think Universal saw Duel and was like, all right, maybe you're not a movie of the week guy. Why don't you make a feature film about a shark? I'm just a big Dennis Weaver guy too. Even Blood on the Beach or whatever. He was in some great TV movies too. I love that original Duel. But yeah, and Joyride. Joyride was great. I miss Paul Walker. I even liked him as a kid on Highway to Heaven.
I don't think I ever watched Joyride 2.
No, it was one of those unrelated. It was only a sequel in title, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. It was like Troll 2.
Troll 2,
except not as good.
Well, I mean, you made Troll 3.
That's true. You know what's funny, and that really, if anything, it's like I Know What You Did Last Summer 5. That movie. We only named it Troll 3 because we used to make fun of my video production teacher that his favorite movie was Troll 2. And we were dead serious about it. So it used to be our inside joke. So when it came time to our end of the year project, it was like, all right, just make a short movie, whatever you want. We named it Troll 3. And really, it has nothing to do with Troll 1 or 2. And not just because Noah Hathaway, we couldn't agree on anything for him. But Darren Ewing from the Oh My God guy from Troll 2 is in Skate to Hell, and I didn't get to work with him or meet him, but I did get to talk with him, and kind of we bonded a little bit over it. You know, who doesn't love that in Troll 2? Like, it's so fun. I love that movie. I like the first one too.
I mean, it's where
that's
J.K.
the real Harry Potter.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. The real Harry Potter.
I mean, you know, everybody turned on J.K. Rowling now anyway, so maybe now they'll finally give John Carr Buechler his due. That's the real Harry Potter.
Exactly. Awesome. So, Kevin, before we go, where can people find you, follow you, and learn all about you and learn about your upcoming work?
Yeah, either look up Farmhouse Murders on IMDb or, you know, on Facebook if you want to connect, if you're in the horror community or whatever. If you just want to spam me or hit me with crazy political stuff, you know, you'll get blocked, but whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of if people want to reach out. But that's pretty much it. I have an Instagram, but I don't really know how to use it. My daughter will teach me at some point.
There you go. Yeah, and when the Farmhouse Murder comes out and I get a chance to watch it, you're more than welcome to come back on and we can discuss it and let people see it and even do a viewing.
I'd love to.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you, Kevin, so much for joining. I hope you had a good time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And make sure to follow us on all social media at PodOutatNight, where we do horror movie interviews like this. We play horror games over on Twitch, and we do horror movie reviews on PodOutatNight. They mostly PodOutatNight, mostly. We'll see you next time. Don't get lost in the void. Good night.